Welcome to the Tapestry of Life. I am Dr. Pascal Scholes, Professor of Behavioral Health and Human Services at Community College of Philadelphia. Today's topic is Buddhism and spirituality in the healing process. Buddhism is one of the world's largest great religions, claiming about 150 to 300 million followers. Buddhism is an important religious and spiritual force in the United States today and has influenced a number of American-born individuals in significant ways. For me, as a clinician, the heart of Buddhism has always been its spiritual practice of meditation and the belief in karma. To discuss this topic today, I want to welcome back my co-host, Mary Harper from the Department of Behavioral Health, Faith, and Spiritual Affairs. I want to welcome my special guests, Jack True, therapist at the Intercultural Family Service Center, and Master Nu from the Kuan Yin Buddhist Temple. Welcome to the show today. You know, this is a kind of an interesting show from my perspective because some of my own history had to do with learning a little bit about meditation and trying to bring together different elements of Eastern activities as opposed to, Eastern thought as opposed to Western psychology. And I'm very happy and pleased that you could be here, Master. It's very nice of you to be here today. And of course you too, Jack.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I was wondering, how would you describe the approach that is used in the field today? Jack, you could start.
即係佢講話即係對於我哋佛教嘅宗教，我哋點樣可以講出嚟我哋佛教嘅宗教嘅認識？
Our Buddhist, that's the old name. But our Buddhist, we have two kinds. One, this is we call the small, one we call the big. But if my no two kinds, only one.
Only one.
Only one, the Buddhist. Because the Buddhist, that's the Buddha magnet. So the Buddha, only one. You have to believe only the Buddha teacher, teaching, and you follow them. And you have to funny, healthy, and everything.
When you think of Eastern thought, how do you, Jack or Master, how do you connect it to what's going on in, say, Western philosophy?
All the Buddha teach us, you keep your mind, keep your body, keep your mind, don't thinking too much.
Okay.
And you keep your body healthy, lucky, and funny. The money only the second. The first, you're healthy. No healthy, you're acting.
Right.
Healthy the mind, healthy the body. It's your hand. No someone get you.
I've often, I mentioned earlier when we were speaking, I think that there's this kind of natural flow to life. Things come into you and they happen to you, and then sometimes they hold on to you, and you wind up getting sick, and then sometimes they seem to go right through you and flow out. And I get a sense that in Buddhist thought, that's a concept that carries some significance in the sense of dealing with
the Buddha,
just the flow of life.
Yeah, that the Buddha teach they follow everything. Better, you that's okay. Bad, that's okay. You don't this good, this bad. And when you think this good, this bad, you feel confused. So you make wrong side. You had the money one day, you have only $1. You have to spend only $1. Don't think you will $10. That's
so no credit cards, huh?
Yeah. And you sit every day, we get it, but you have to take the medicine. You have to keep your mind, keep your body.
Yeah.
Don't be angry too much. Angry body, everyone have. You angry much, you hurt yourself and hurt your family, hurt your around.
Yeah. Well, there is a sense of like living in the now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get that
Yeah.
feeling that, and surely displaced anger is problematic. I
Yeah.
mean, in the sense of allowing you to
Everyone have.
fulfill. Yeah.
But you have to keep down to you grow out. Because you do out, hurt yourself first. I love someone much. You don't love you, that suffer you. Love someone, love out first. Because you love someone, you make your suffer yourself. Because you need, wait, you have to do that, you have to do that, you have to do this. No one listen to you.
Uh-huh.
You have to take care of you. Listen.
Well, I guess, Master, in taking care of yourself, you wind up taking care of everyone else too,
That's
right?
very
Yeah, you're kind of like, if you're in harmony with the world and life,
talk
then everyone else around you has a certain harmonious way of dealing with you. That's a concept that I wish we would practice a lot more in the Western culture, because a lot of people hold on to their anger, and what happens is that the anger then gets displaced.
Yeah,
projected out into the world.
In my experience, kinh nghiệm đó.
Yeah, talk about experiences.
In my, when I love someone, but I think someone don't need I love, that's okay. I need to help someone, but they don't need to help, that's okay. Don't big and the thank you.
Don't force.
Don't force your will on other people.
Yeah.
Well, then here's the point. What happens when, in other words, if someone needs help and they're not willing to get the help, in the Buddhist tradition, you would just say, let it go?
Yeah, that's true.
Let it go?
I talk the children, we have to teach them. Which one is better for children? Which one you help them? We have taught them. If you don't listen, you help, you your parent. If the children help someone, step trouble, who is trouble, you trouble too. The children suffer, you suffer too. So to help everything, you found everything, help them first. Help them listen to you.
So, you read about that. So suffering's a universal thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's universal, I guess.
The children, they suffer not the same,
As the adults do.
Yeah. So
But I guess it's all relative, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Yeah, we have depend the mental people. You have to understand the mental. They need what.
So how do you? And I'm ask both of you.
Yes.
I mean, there's three of you. I mean,
Yeah.
So how do you get yourself into a position where you have a positive flow to life from a Buddhist space? Now, when I look at that literature, I see meditation as a vehicle, and I see, again, not holding on to things, letting things go as a part of that tradition.
I hear you talk meditation. The meditation, what meaning? That meaning you don't think anything, and you throw out everything. You follow the nature.
Follow nature. So nature.
You hungry, you have to something to eat. You need some water. Some need some food. That's all. When you want to sleep, you have to sleep a little.
Well, you do get the sense of this kind of almost life with nature kind of thinking with some of the Eastern thoughts, at least, that there's this kind of balance, that what gets you anxious and makes you nervous and gets you in trouble, in the sense, is the fact that you're not in harmony with the world and the universe around you, would you?
I talk to not only human, the animal.
Oh, okay.
The same.
Yeah, that's.
They want what? They want the what? They want the better. They want the good. They want the everything. They have everything, but cannot be. You have everything. So you follow the nature.
Yeah, follow the natural way. as they say.
You work one day only $10. You spend $10. You don't spend $20. You more money, and no money you have to do the bad thing.
Sure. There's a kind of
So the Buddha
a
did
good simplicity to
yeah,
it. A kind of a good
the Buddha
simplicity.
Yes.
You follow what you do and what you spend. What you want, you don't give someone. You know, angry, you make someone angry, and someone suffer, and you further don't give someone suffer.
Mm-hmm.
Love, you do love your children, okay? But you now you do that. Now you do that. The children leave
Disappear.
you.
They leave.
Yeah, and they leave. Who is suffer? Your parent.
As a parent,
When anger separates people, and I think this is kind of more like a clinical thing.
Yeah.
When anger separates people,
Yeah.
it separates not only you as a father or me as a father,
Yeah.
but it also
The children.
separates the children. So two universes are impacted on, where if they both were in harmony, they both would be more positively impacted on in the culture. Would you?
So, in my temple, someone they come, they envy their house, your wife, your children, or
Spouse,
your parents. I talk, do you love your parents?
Mm-hmm.
Do you love your wife? If you love the first, you have to listen them first. Listen them first. And after they don't get angry, you talk, you do that not. You hurt me, hurt you, and hurt for family.
Mm-hmm.
Hurt our family. Who is suffer? Why you do that? But our wife and husband can talk. Don't angry too much that hurt our.
Well, I think anger in many ways is the root of a lot of significant problems we have in the culture.
Everything.
Wouldn't you think?
But now you know, only wife and husband 2% angry, not too much. But in 10 people,
a little anger is a good thing.
Yeah, a little bit. Beginning, a little bit.
yeah, 10 people in the house,
That add
angry
up.
too much.
Yeah.
That
No,
add up.
when so angry, you angry that no what. So sometimes children talk with our parents, listen them. They want what? They want what? If you can, don't know, or now we don't have the money. Now I can do that for you. Maybe tomorrow after thăm, chứ thăm có người thì ngay người thì thỏm với người.
You have to calm everybody down and then talk it over.
And after that,
Elaborate what's
talk
going on. Yes.
children.
Wow.
And then
My
work it
son,
out
my daughter,
in your
I
family.
don't have the money too much. I don't have the money. Your mom and I very hard for you.
Mm-hmm. You know, I never really gave it a whole lot of thought, and as the Master speaks to me, I get the impression that family and those kinds of value systems really are at the core of Buddhist traditions. I mean, the way he...
But out of Buddhist, that everything. You follow everything.
Yes, all of it.
Someone angry you.
You pray.
You pray. So praying is an important
Someone
issue.
love you.
You always say that.
Now, I'm assuming that a meditation is a kind of prayer.
Yeah.
At least we
So
tend to think of it that way.
Meditation, that's it. Don't thinking anything. Bad, don't thinking. Good, don't thinking. Everything is don't thinking. Money, don't thinking. Love, not thinking. Keep your mind, nothing.
It's blank.
Open.
Give your
Keep
mind
it
up
blank.
and keep it open.
Keep it
Yeah.
blank.
Yeah.
Yep.
And when you think, oh, I love this one, that makes your not good. Everything is okay. When you thinking, now we have to die, you can take care of everything. No, we to do out everything. That your heart very, very.
So
Happy.
does the meditation clear your spirit and your mind? Is that
Yeah, right.
it helps?
Nothing in the meditation. Don't think anything. And don't take anything. Don't do out anything. Come in, do out, follow them.
They're kind of a very now feel, living now. and
Mindfulness.
everything else will occur. Is something like, in other words, it's a very now experience, like a Zen experience. Sometimes people have referred to it.
No, sometimes they angry the past 10 years, 20 years, more years ago.
Something happened 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You
And
give
now
an
I'm
example.
angry.
And now
Yeah.
you take it until now.
And you take it into today,
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's no good.
which is not a good idea. But that's not a good idea
Let it go.
from
Yeah.
a Buddhist perspective or a Western. The
Yeah.
fact that you hold on to anger.
The Buddha taught me, I can, and I do not give
about
you
hurt?
anything. I do not give anything. I
Yeah,
talk to
we talk about
how
it later.
you keep your healthy, funny, and lucky. The Buddha taught that. Everything in your hand, not me. I only talk how you have the funny, how you have the healthy, how you have the lucky. If you do, you listen, you practice, good job, you good for me, not good for me. And I talk to my member the same. I can help you to eat him. I can help you to take the medicine.
Mm-hmm.
I
Healing.
can to help you everything. Everything in your hand. Your family, not me. I just only talk you. Love your family, love your body, love your wife, love your son, and love your children.
It is a very positive philosophy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so Master
Because
Touch,
love, the meaning love, not the same. Sometimes you have to talk them, but they don't listen. Keep today, tomorrow, because they living with you.
Sure.
And I see here only 20 more years. Someone they small, they want everything. You give them everything. And when to 20 to
When they're 20 or 25,
they want everything. You
can't get it.
can get it.
Yeah.
And that's so children, you have the little.
Don't spoil
The
it.
first, you have to listen me. The first, you have to study. The first, you have to better. Don't angry too much. Your children, you listen more. You angry, that's not good for you and not good for my. I am your parent, not your son. And the parent the same. In the children, pay, don't angry together. They learn. They learn, oh, my family, everything is find out. In the future, we learn like that. That's no good. The man in the house, everything in the home. Anh em, chị em mà đánh lộn nhau.
brother and sister
Mấy
fighting.
đứa lớn đánh nhau.
The elder fighting with the younger.
Yeah. Well, there's a
Đánh lộn nhau.
yeah, the elder fight with the young.
Cái tả cao.咁mà cái sao có thay kim cái hòa. Khởi thì咁tả cái tàn còn thì tài rất nhiều tả đó.
Yeah, when they see, they will
Chứ sao
learn
đâu
it.
có dậu dưỡng học dưỡng.
Yeah, the children learn so fast when they see the fighting, the younger sibling fighting with the elder sibling, and then they learn that they have some concept, and then they learn when they grow up, and there will be violence.
Oh.
Yeah, and they'll start like
So
learning,
it's special.
learning.
Special,
From them.
teach the children. Don't angry at their face. Don't do not bad thing in their face.
You almost get the impression that the whole life expectancy of the Buddha is to make you a more integrated, positive kind of person who has minimal anger and minimal negative experiences and communicates that to other people. I almost think that's probably the philosophy of therapy too.
Well, Master Touch we're talking about, if we want to help, we help the younger generation first. And then so because the younger generation will be able to learn to cope up with the parent. So,
You know,
so they don't
someone,
have
they mentor come to me. You know the mentor, the most time people, they talk anything, no good.
What
But
does mental means?
somebody have mental illness.
Mental health problems.
Yes.
yeah,
okay,
they
yeah.
come temple,
Right.
help me to
Sick
lead them.
problem,
They want this, they want that.
Illness.
Okay. Now I don't have, wait a little, and I have something I have to add to you. Now to talk very nice, very 佢講3次，但係我哋一認為係佢啱嘅，俾控制，俾佢順咗自己，咁慢慢先講翻嘅。
Although they come to us with the problem, so we have to feel like welcome them and so they can talk more about it, to let it out, so in order to help them. So we cannot say that, oh, you're wrong and we have to help you, we have to fix you in this. You have to go along right with the flow and then let them tell you about the symptom, what's going on, how they feel about in mentally. And then so you can get it.
So one would assume that the healing occurs through the expression of the negative, which eventually winds up being viewed, at least, from a more positive space.
Yeah,
The mentor come 即係佢哋嗰啲財人嚟咗，我用要就住佢先，就佢就慢慢先呢啲唔應該你做，呢啲唔應該做，聽師傅啦，要慢慢做。
Yeah, when they come to a temple, and my job is I have to explain to them. I have to hear them first, where they're coming from, what kind of help do they need. So go along with them, and then from there we have to sit down and talk slowly, and to them what kind of services that individual need for the time being, and we cannot jump to a conclusion saying that you have problem, you need help. Otherwise, they might disappear.
Yeah, and I assume that the concept of diagnosis is not a really important topic within the community.
即係佢話
I'm talking about mental health diagnosis.
即係喺呢個社區裏邊啲病人咧，好似好唔注重關於係精神病嘅問題係咪？
好多種㗎，但係樣樣我哋要同佢講咗先，總之 family。All family.
So it's structured around family life.
Yeah, family. Because family many manageable. Because they every day they living together, they eating together, they talking together. So they very manageable.
So
only when you nothing, and your why you only talk a little. That's no good. Your my not your why.
So Master Tet was talking about, it all depends on who's in the community, who's talking to who. If you don't know me, you don't trust me, I'm not going to share anything with you. You have like anyone individual have problem, they come. The first thing they come, whether they go to the church,
Right.
because the pastor there, the priest there, I know. I can rely on the praying, the healing. Or Master teach for Buddhism religion that I know him for years. I can come and count on him. And I'm not going to see that individual because my story, my personal story, will go out to the community and talking against me. So in a better way, to seek for solutions so the individual will come to the person they know and believe or speak their language and know their culture for real.
有時啲夫妻啦，佢又唔聽我話，我為而家做，我為嗱，你哋諗啊，你嬲你嘅老公咁樣，你嬲你老婆咁樣，係我痛苦啊，你痛苦㗎，咁啊，我哋痛苦。
I try to explain to a couple, their spouse, and they're angry with each other, and I give out example and talk to them about if you get angry with your spouse, who's suffering? You're the one suffering. Now you're coming ask for help. I'm going to explain to you who's suffering.
Sometimes I talk, do you love together? Now, no, that's separate. Separate 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. If you take,
you can come back together.
Or that separate.
Or separate forever.
Yes.
That's no thing.
It's either way is okay.
Yeah, very easy.
As long as you get rid of your
day?
anger.
Yeah.
Exactly.
As long as the anger goes away.
Yeah, right.
Right.
I talk to my mom,
said,
you don't want to go here. That's okay. If you live at home, you have funny, have healthy. Thank you. I don't need to come here.
Well, it's interesting that you allow distance to occur, and you even allow it to go away, if you want to say that. Yet the divorce rates are fairly low among the Asian community. So it's almost like giving them license, so to speak, from a Western space at least, giving them license to like look at the world in a variety of ways and to accept the fact that separation could be a good thing as long as the anxiety and anger is dealt with.
You know,
they stay together more. That's what it sounds
Well,
like.
Master Teach also practice and also help out, those a couple getting married. They come to the temple and pray to testify about, just like any other church or Catholic religion.
They come
Christian.
in.
Yep.
The Buddha, the monk, help me
With
to
the
sign
blessing.
the license.
Certificate license,
Yeah,
marriage
yeah.
license.
I talk, right, it's very easy.
Right.
Write the license very easy.
Writing it very easy.
I can sign
Very
it easily.
I sign everything.
Yeah,
And you
easily.
sign everything. But you listen together. That's it, the first. You love together.
Right.
You forgive together. If you know that, it is nothing.
Before
Premarital
he
So it's
counseling.
kind of like
Premarital
sign, I
counseling?
want to
Yeah,
make sure.
They,
Yes.
today, I signed the license.
Yes.
Today, we separate.
separate. But that's okay if they're
No, they,
no. I mean, if they from
they
what I
no
understand.
separate. They every.
No, I'm just saying that if they separate,
out.
maybe you can explain. What I'm trying to get is if they separate and there's harmony among them in the separation, then that's kind of, if you want to use the word, that's a good thing, because there's no
Yeah.
anger and there's no
Yeah,
hostility.
the first thing.
So to keep
no,
them together and to be constantly arguing with each other
It's not
makes it
healthy.
not such a good thing.
It's not healthy.
That's
Yeah.
not healthy.
Right.
So in a sense, it's almost a protective device against domestic violence, so to speak. If it's not working
Exactly.
out,
Yes.
it's almost culturally
即係唯有最好嘅辦法。
acceptable to move
等大家
from
分
it. That's what it sounds
Hậu
like.
thị.
Is that-
no, the first thing they take the marriage license. Come here, come me. I don't write that down. I talk to. Do you love together? Yeah. Do you angry together? No. That now. That now no angry together. In the tomorrow or the day after tomorrow you will.
Yeah.
And when you angry, you have to do that. You hurt your who?
So
So is it like counseling them before they get married? Like, I can sign this, but do you love each other? You know?
Yeah, right.
Right.
Not
So-
together and
right.
to fiction together and
Right.
to
Why are
forget
you
together.
doing this? Right. Are you going to be together?
Yeah, right.
So,
Like that. Okay.
Right. It's like
You
a
talk
premarital
with me and the
counseling.
Buddha.
Yeah,
You
and the
remember
Buddha.
what you talk. You remember
you
that.
promise.
In the sense of counseling, just a second, Jack, it sounds like the effectiveness of counseling isn't in a traditional facility. It sounds like the help that they get is really in a community center, or it's in a different kind of place that is not traditionally associated with counseling. It's more universal kind of center.
Well, may I elaborate what Master
Yes.
Touch was talking about? Actually, before he put his autograph on the marriage license, so he wanted to emphasize, make sure that, you worship Buddha, you promise what you're going to do, so you have to carry on before I signed off. So
Yeah,
that's what,
Xin xài đó.
yeah, you actually, you testify in front the Buddha, your religion, and it's 5 different promises you have to do and carry on in your life
The first
before
thing
you
I
marry.
talk. Do
In
you
the
listen
marriage.
together?
Yes,
Do you love together?
yes,
Do you forgive them together?
yes,
Do you take care together?
yes.
Yes.
Same thing and everything promised, but not to do as a promise. After 3 years, that they end up to be separate. So we agree that
I some member them. The Buddha help me the healthy. No, Buddha no help you on your hand. I talk that.
everything
You
in
don't
your hand.
you don't agree.
Don't
you
ask too much.
I don't need to come here. You want to happy. You happy, lucky. You have to take care yourself. I can give you everything. Money I can give you. Land I can give you. But healthy, I cannot help you. The Buddha the
I
same.
can not provide
I talk like that.
you
So
healthy.
someone come, that okay. No, go, that okay.
How does this get interpreted in counseling or therapy or whatever, in the sense of do you see much of a change in the philosophy of dealing with?
Well, when we have member coming in ask for help with the mental problem, so generally we don't ask what religion you are,
Okay.
what cultural background first,
Yeah.
and then if you hit on right religion, and they will walk out,
No, in my mind,
and that's nothing to do with
every
right religion.
religion the same.
So
Every religion
the family
the same.
background first.
It's the
God,
culture.
the
Yes.
Buddha, they want people healthy, want people happy. So I don't think that. So I talk the person. If a mental, now your mental, you don't make your family. The first, you very very suffer.
But yes, and I agree with you. There are these kind of universals that cross, you know, this kind of ecumenical movement across all faiths, and that there's these universals. I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to tease out is, as a person, see, one of the things that we're getting at, interestingly enough, is the cultural influence of therapy or counseling in life and how one deals with it, and that who would come in to see someone with your background and experiences would be uniquely different than if they were Hispanic, say, for example. Although we understand that there are universals that cut across all of those cultures. So what I'm trying to tease out as I listen is, where does that difference, we know where the commonness is, what makes you uniquely different as a counselor or therapist from a Buddhist perspective? I don't know if that,
Or
that
even
makes...
just, can I just say?
Yes, go ahead.
Even so, sometimes in his work, the culture may override the faith a little bit, because even though they may practice it, it may override, the culture may override it. So when they come to Jack, it's going to be, you know, it's different, because in the Asian community, there's no words for depression. There's no language that speaks to anxiety. There's no language that speaks to, you know, borderline personality. So when they approach them, it's a totally different approach in how they would do in a westernized intake. And, you know, so if you have depression, oh, she sleeps too much. If it's bipolar, she's hyper, or, you know, so they deal with the symptoms and the signs. Is that, am I correct, Jack? So you can explain it to them, because they don't really understand that in their community.
Let's put it this way. When we talk about mental in our language, we don't have the word mental. Mental means translate directly is say, you know, you're crazy.
Right.
So
that's why it gets translated in your
yes,
culture.
and you're crazy, so leave me alone. I can't deal with you. So that's how mental is. Some specialists were talking about using medical term, and can you interpret or elaborate a little bit my translation to the member? And then why take 10 minutes to talk about, to translate the word mental? What am I talking about? We don't have direct translation for mental, except the word you're crazy.
Right.
And you go to a mental health facility. So what that means is, we have to lean in to cultural differences, talk about it. If you talk about religion right away, hit right away, the master teacher have no problem. Master teacher can talk directly, hit right on the head. But we can, what got to do, regardless what religion I am, I don't practice my religion, so we're off the track as a therapist or counselor. So we have to get close together, talk about culture, where you're coming from, what language do you use in your family, and then what kind of practice that you have, any religion from there. Now it takes time for us, for me, myself, to ask a question, what religion, how about talk about social activity? What do you do in the weekend? What do you do on Saturday and Sunday? Oh, I go to temple on Sunday. Now they start telling you, oh, exciting, what temple do you go to? Do you practice at home? You have that religion, talk about your religion a little bit, so we can work out from there.
So it's a kind of a healing through a kind of a warm, empathic kind of, I'm trying to get to know you space. But deep behind all that is a whole spiritual presence about how one looks at spirituality in life. And it's not really a religious space. It's a spiritual space.
Well,
which I kind of liked about the readings I did on Buddhism. It's kind of more of a spiritual presence in life,
Now,
being in harmony. No?
關於宗教即係關於精神病嘅宗教嘅問題，即係話我哋可唔可以直接或者係要間接嘅方式問人哋你係咩宗教或者咩？我哋唔可以咁問。
我冇問人啲㗎。總之佢嗰啲病啊，你問啲冇用，冇關㗎。總之係佢個人嘅，個人咁啊，我哋要揾辦法醫佢直接，冇問佢宗教，冇關係嘅宗教。
Master Touch was talking about, you know, even I am the master in the temple. I don't want to talk about religion. If you have problem, you ask for help. You need help. That's yourself. You need help.
Right.
Now set the religion to the side. We can talk later. But if you have problem, tell us your problem.
Religion, that's good, very, very good.
Yeah, I got that one.
Yeah.
I got that one. The
So,
religion's not the
on
issue.
So I don't ask your what's religion. No.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know. I mean, to be honest with you, I didn't get it earlier.
Yeah.
But I think that what I'm beginning to sense, and I think the audience will sense it too, is that Buddhism is a kind of almost like a way of spiritual life, and it's not necessarily a religious practice, although it's, you know, the Buddha's, you know, a very significant historical figure,
Right.
and the spirituality just flows from the experience of life. Is that, it's
Master,
very much like nature, actually.
Master also mentioned about, you know, you come to worship, and you come asking for help. I can help you to pray. I feed you with the water when I give you the water when you're thirsty. I provide lunch when you're hungry. But you have to help yourself, the other part of it. I can only pray for you.
Sometimes I have some money. Later you want
financially,
I no more. I only a little $10.
I don't have a lot.
I help you, but you spend little.
Try to control the budget I gave you.
You know, when they lucky, funny, they listen me.
Sometimes they're funny, they listen to me.
You don't do that. That's no good. If you want, every Sunday you come and give you $3, $2.
Yeah.
To make you happy, I encourage you, and life is moving on. I give you some hope, and so not making you helpless, you know. And so you can come and pray, whatever you need help from, and you can interact with different members.
So in my temple Sunday, 8:30, I give someone to eat to afternoon to 8 p.m.
Provide for you.
Everything, everyone can come and everything one can eat it. And
2
everything it go well.
You can take away, whatever you need.
So now you're basically.
I don't need anything.
Yeah. So Jack, you kind of have taken some of this philosophy and incorporated it into working in family service, I guess.
Yes.
And
well,
how do we take those principles that Master's talking to and incorporate them into your practice, if you want to look at it that way, from family service?
Well, basically, the member doesn't come to me directly, even they know me in the community, or even they trust me, because they're kind of embarrassing coming to me directly. Anybody comes to, oh, he's a therapist.
Oh, they get
The
stigmatized.
stigma.
Oh, there's the
Exactly.
therapist.
Here you go. That's a word.
Okay.
And then after that, they talk to the master. Master was seeing, they talk to me or come to me, and they need help from the master. The master will give them my phone numbers on the side. So therefore, there's no flyer talk about our services or mental health services, or nor either my business card is not on the table. Otherwise, when you come and grab my business card or look at the bulletin, that means, oh, he has a problem. So people know that you have mental health problem, you need a therapist. So if he make the announcement in the public, everybody know that anybody can come to the table and grab the business card, they know that family have problem or family problem.
And it can bring shame to the family.
Right.
Shame to the family.
And that's very important too in that community, you know, even though
everybody
if you're
looking at
Buddhist,
you.
it can still bring shame to your family that you have some problems going on and that you have to
Or
seek
mental health,
therapy.
yeah.
For mental health or
Yes, or
any of it. Right.
married therapies.
So let me just follow this up just one more second, if you
Okay.
don't mind. So the master tells me to go see you, and I agree that I'm going to
Then you will
that I
call.
will come and call you and
Right.
meet with you.
Right.
Now, what is when they come to see you? What happens? Because the stigma will still be, oh, I'm seeing the therapist, so to speak. Now, I'm not saying that's what happens, but I'm just saying that in a traditional sense, how do you get past that the family stigma or whatever?
Well, from that case, you and I, we met a long time, but we never talked. We never agree each other, introduce each other again. We haven't seen each other like 20 some years now. Oh, small word, the master told me to call you. Now I'm seeing you. That's a shock. I met you 20 years ago. So let's talk. And then they open up and they talk. So when I go back to the temple, even I see that individual, I pretend I don't know them.
Oh, okay.
Anybody comes to me,
That's
they
the way you
go,
protect
okay.
the confidentiality. Of
Exactly.
course,
And then they may know, okay, Pat, Pat know you. So, and so on. People talk about in the community, I saw him at the temple, he asked for help. Or she asked for help. So master also protect their confidentiality as
Right.
well. And then he will call me right away and say, Jack, somebody just asked me your number, so on from New Jersey.
And someone I talk to their family, that the person is better or not better, talk to me. Yeah,
Follow up,
they
for
can
follow
follow.
up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for follow up.
So he actually becomes almost the follow-up, the minister, so to speak. of
And
the
he's the
faith.
one that does the referral.
And
So
does the
he,
referrals.
so they come into the temple for help.
So-
he talks to them, and then they refer you to Jack.
So what's kind of interesting and unique about this cultural experience is that it works mainly because of the connection between the spiritual leader and
Right.
as opposed to where you can go anywhere and get counseling, but in the case of the Asian community or the Buddhist community, I don't know exactly the right language to say, that it works because there's this symmetry, this kind of
Exactly.
give and take.
Between,
And now,
yeah.
when that happens, how long do you normally are you seeing the person? Do you see them for 6 months or a year, or how does it, in your experience of being a therapist or counselor?
It all depend on some member might be stick with us 2 years
Oh,
on
okay.
medication. Some member might be only 6 month discharge.
Oh, okay.
And because they take medication on and off every day.
Okay.
Some of them take medication one day and then take 5 days off, and they have to catch up with it. And all how long should it take to heal a problem with the pressure and depression? It all depends on. We have cases like 3 years.
Oh, okay.
Do I have to take medication for the rest of my life? So we cannot predict that.
Right.
As far as we see you and moving along, you're doing well. And it help some cases progress and improve.
So what's unique is that you don't see this symmetry all the time.
No, you don't.
That in a lot of the faith communities where the leader trusts the clinical community to go out and do the work. So it's really this is not a normal. This is not an everyday practice, because some of the faith communities, they think that they can do it, maybe through pastoral education, to pastoral counseling, but for him to be able to refer people to Jack and have them come into the service and stay 6 months, 2 years, 3 years is it's not a very common practice.
It's almost the best of two possible worlds.
It is.
From the perspective of where I'm coming from, at least. You have a faith healer, and you also have a Western healer, so to speak, who understands the traditions of the faith community that they work in. And you wonder if that model, which I never really gave it much thought until today, actually, you wonder if that model where you combine the healing faith with the healing principles of counseling, the combination probably gets two different kinds of conversations going sometime. Some of the things they would talk to with the master would not necessarily talk to with you. And some things they would talk to you, they would feel awkward in talking to the priest.
Yeah, how we connect with the community, first of all, let me back up a little bit. Well, we thank you, Dr. Evan, CBH and
Yes.
DBH IDS. Well, connect us in the community, and we have to have a dentist, medical doctor in the community work together, and a faith-based temple or churches. So we picked Kuan Yin Temple as part of it in the community. What the most, I wouldn't say the most, I apologize, some of the family believe Kuan Yin or Buddhism, and to be Buddhism. And then so we can, that's opened the door for us to come in and talk to them about it, the reality, what's going on with mental health. So we got to the stage of ARC, Asian Recovery Coalition, that we picked Kuan Yin Temple, and as well as other doctor in the community. And the doctor also, the family doctor also refer member to us. We refer to those who not without medical insurance coverage. We refer back to them. We provide case management work, how to apply for medical assistance, and all this work.
So
And
it's through a coalition
It's
that
a coalition.
they came on.
It's
Yeah,
almost
Right.
a holistic coalition.
right.
Exactly.
So we had
Of healthcare
several
providers. Is that what it sounds
coalitions,
like?
and this was just one. But those
Oh,
were,
that's a
that
good
was a
model.
criteria.
we have
It's a
Catholic.
good model, actually.
Yeah, we have
Yeah,
Catholic.
very
Yes, it's a very
And
good
it's
model.
working.
Church. We have the Cambodian group of the Temple Cambodian group, who are the Asian Cambodian coming. We have the other Master Sam as well, you know, and work together in community for Cambodian themselves, and then coming in to us. So cut the chase, we are on this different stage from the beginning, intake process, to know the cultural differences. And then now we come up to the healing part. And for stigma, we call the stage of awareness. Now, it's opened up with the trauma for those refugees escaped from their country looking for freedom. Now, with the traumatized stuff back in their country, I'm one of them. Actually, I escaped. I'm not an immigrant. I'm a refugee coming in. Well, I'm a bold person with two younger brothers from the beginning. And so this kind of trauma you never can forget during the Vietnam War, actually, or Cambodian War during that time. Everybody had to escape. So up to the awareness part, it's come to healing, and we were lost in the community. There was no funding.
Services, no funding or service.
Continue to work with the minority group at this point. So we got a little bit stuck. So in this case, well, we have to find some way to move on and to help the family. We cannot close the door. We open for everybody, regardless what your religion, what you believe into, because like Master was talking about, it's only one way. We have to move on.
我哋都好多人都成功咗，即係好多翻社啦，即係叫平復翻啦，好多啲 member 啦。
Yeah, we have a lot of member. Master was talking about. We have a lot of member in the temple. Also, case discharge, healing, improving, progress, and they're no longer taking medication.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I can understand that. I can see where if you connect
Yes.
very, very closely, if you believe that spirituality is a very important topic, and I think everyone sitting in this room
Yes,
feels
absolutely.
that way, that although medication could be seen as an adjunctive kind of therapy, we don't necessarily have to see it adjunctive for life, so to speak. And that sometimes the healing within the family of traditions of like Buddhism or whatever the tradition is could very easily allow for the reduction in depression, the reduction in anxiety, et cetera, and therefore not necessarily need the continuance of a lot of medication. Not saying that there aren't people who genetically or for other reasons might need some medication, but I think we do over-medicate the Western culture. We love the, who goes to a doctor and feels that they're being helped if they don't give them something. And I guess in the traditions that you're talking, it's more of we use it, but we don't try to abuse it, and when we cannot use it, we don't use it. Which I think is
Absolutely,
which
that's
is
different. Yes.
It's the way you talk about it. It sounds like a wonderful model that could be.
Thank you.
It's a kind of like a community support model. It has faith in it. It has therapy in it. It has I assume. Home group kind of meetings where you talk about the culture in which you live, and maybe talk about how to be good parents, because my family originally, when they came to this country from Italy, that one of the problems that we always had is that no one ever understood us. We always were considered to be like odd, and the only place we could find comfort
Yes.
is that
Comfort
where people
zone.
spoke our language, and when we can sit there
Right.
and they could say, well, you got to learn how to speak this way, and you have to do this, and otherwise they'll think you're ignorant, or they
Yes,
get all these kind of,
absolutely.
and that
Same thing.
healed us. I mean, that made us
Yes.
feel that we're a part of America. And I assume that, and I don't necessarily look Asian, so even when we heal, there's still the physical characteristics that
Absolutely.
continue on, and people have
Absolutely.
stereotypes about, and stigmas about that whole population.
The cultural competencies plays a big part in the work that we do. You can't separate the two. You have to bring them both to the table. So you bring the culture to the table and the faith to the table.
Yes.
And depending on what culture it is,
Yes.
it will definitely override it. Even in their community, there's a large Christian community. So you have
Yes,
to deal with
yeah, I
that,
know.
but they
Yes.
still have an Asian culture,
They have the
which
culture.
Right.
really kind of looks like Buddhism. So you have to respect that, because you have the hierarchy in that community, and the class system, and that's very important as well. So you do have that. So you bring all of that to the table, and the faith component of it. So this is an extremely successful model that we want to have, across the city of Philadelphia, where the faith community can have someone come in, ask for service, and refer them out. And we've been trying to do this for 10 years, so we've made it. Yay!
That's good. The other thing I would say now, we didn't even have this kind of conversation prior to, but I wanted to. Well, first of all, let me just say to the master that if I needed to talk with someone, I surely would love to talk.
Yeah.
Me too. He's just a lovely person. I mean, really, I think you're a great guy.
Master,
Besides being a master, but I mean,
Master have no problem.
Yeah.
Go on and on and on. Even sometimes I have to stop him, And then so
He's a good person.
Yes,
No,
yes.
You could see his
Very
kindness.
knowledgeable.
I can feel it.
There. There's no
Very
question
peaceful.
about that.
Very
Yes,
peaceful.
yes.
But I wanted to, we talked about Western this and Eastern that. I'm wondering, kind of related to that, is there a use of herbs and is there a use of
Incense,
I guess
oils,
incense? Because there's a little of that in the general adjunctive world, we call it in
Christian.
Western culture. And how about acupuncture? Is this a part of the normal idea? I mean, I've gone to an acupuncturist frequently for shoulders and massage, and I'm wondering if that's a part of this. I almost
Healing.
kind of know the answer. A part of this healing process.
師傅明白佢問你可唔可以答呢個問題啊？
chắc là西方嘅。
即係西方同東方咧，做咩大部分我哋東方人只係信針灸啊，或者係中藥啊咁樣嚟幫自己解決呢個病況。咁你認為咧係啱唔啱啊？
有啲係以前，而家冇咯，而家冇嗰啲，你講乜
哦
㗎？而家
師傅你可以講。
即係呢啲 before not now no Western
That was
and
a long
Eastern
time
the
ago.
same.
What?
They really
With the
told
practice.
both them.
Acupuncture.
Okay.
Yeah, my membership here they told sometimes
Sometimes they
believe
do
that.
and sometimes they don't.
did. Yeah,
Would-
the same.
Yeah, the reason why I bring it up, Master, is because
But
if you
the
look
first
at,
thing I talk to you, we have to Eastern. You have to pay the money more.
Yeah.
To eat Western no, Western not money too much.
點樣
not what too much?
即係 spend money.
Spend money.
Spend
Spend
money.
money. They
If
spend
we
money.
Oh, the money.
Spend the money, yeah.
we treat the
Oh,
Western
okay.
that's better. Eastern you can 一劑藥啊，幾十蚊啊，咁啊成10幾蚊啊，你諗幾多就可以即係講嘅意
See
思
the
咁
herb?
樣。
It costs a lot of money. People don't
Yes,
realize
it
it.
does.
And sometimes they realize that I can get better after this, taking herb, all
Right.
this. But when you think about money-wise, regardless Western or Eastern, that's a lot of money for the herb.
Sure.
Each
Yeah.
time, and not only one time.
So
and
they
you
train
spend
the
more.
Western.
Yes.
So now they switch gear to the Western part
Oh, yes.
to practice Western.
And now
Well, it's interesting that they process Western.
Costs a lot of
because
money for
if-
acupuncture.
Yes, if this is, I'll leave because we're going to end this.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Here's the point I want to make,
Okay.
though, which is I think a reasonable point, is that we do have to change the way we fund programs so that we can allow for the processing of payments for acupuncture and massage, because if we believe that's a part of the healing process, then it should be incorporated within the paradigm of reimbursement. And it's interesting that funds do drive programs. So even though you might say this person could benefit, from herbs or benefit from acupuncture
Right.
don't have the money, and we don't have a source to
Right.
pay for
to
it.
pay for it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So one of the things that we can maybe end this, because we're coming to the end of the show, is to say that one of the things that come out of this experience is the need to reevaluate our funding sources and what we pay for, because in some ways we are doing a negative to certain cultural groups who would benefit from things like acupuncture or massage or
Even the
herbs.
meditation and the yoga.
And it goes almost against the cultural standard,
So you
their
bring it back,
cultural
like,
standards, don't you think?
Yeah, in some prisons in the South, they did meditation and yoga for like 6 or 8, for like a year. And it was working. And they did it for people who were lifers. And it was really successful. But they stopped it because they felt that it was a religious tradition
not,
and ritual. But it was in the South.
But again, what can I tell you?
Bible Belt.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. I want to thank my co-host Mary Harper and my guest Jack True and Master Tich for appearing on the show today. And I want to thank you for tuning in. You have been watching Tapestry of Life on CCP TV, the educational channel for Community College of Philadelphia. I am Dr. Pascal Scholes, Professor of Behavioral Health and Human Services. See you next time. Thank you for tuning in.